Almost 60% of people regularly receive mail addressed to previous residents. The majority of the time, this isn't that big of a deal. You get it, see it's not addressed to you, grab a pen and a permanent marker, write "return to sender" on the envelope, and place it back in your mailbox. No big deal. But this scenario is actually a nightmare for healthcare organizations. Medical bills contain some of the most sensitive information on the planet. As such, the Department of Health and Human Services considers medical bills as protected health information. In other words, sending medical bills to the wrong address is a direct violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, aka HIPAA. Hi everyone, I'm Matt from eTactics, and today I'm going to go over how healthcare practices should handle sending medical bills to the wrong address. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. While you're down there, hit that alert bell icon next to it as well, so when we post new helpful content, you get notified. The very first thing you should do if you sent mail to the wrong address is to get to the bottom of what happened. Do you have a statement printing and mailing services vendor? Although they're saving you a ton of time by automating your patient billing process, they might have experienced a printing error. Or it's possible that one of your team members made a typo or address error within the vendor's system. If you don't have a print and mail services vendor, then you're doing the process in-house manually. Here I want to point out that the average error rate for manual data entry is 1%. In other words, sending medical bills to the wrong address has a much higher chance of happening if you rely on in-house manual processes. Nevertheless, if this process describes you, you'll need to take a look at all of the data entries your employees made and go over everything with each of them in person. Second, you'll need to contact any and all affected patients. This goes without saying, but you don't want to send them a letter through the mail telling them that their statement went to the wrong address. Think about how silly that would make you look. Instead, you should contact them via a phone call and an email. Due to the sensitive nature of what occurred, a direct phone call is the safest and best way to tell an affected patient that their medical bill went to the wrong address. But if they don't pick up and the call goes to voicemail, you should leave one. However, don't overshare during the recording as you don't know who might listen to it once it's sent. Whether or not your client answers though doesn't change the fact that you should email them about what happened as well for good measure. The same rule of thumb for oversharing applies here as well. Third, you need to fix your mistake and resend the statement altogether. As a good practice, you shouldn't proceed with anything further until you've heard back from the affected patient. Ensure that you ask them to confirm their address before you do anything else. Even if the typo in your system is obvious, you don't want to assume that you've corrected the address without verifying it with them first. If you don't, you might end up doubling down on the situation you're trying to fix, which isn't a good look overall. Once you've confirmed the address with your client, update it within your system so that there's no confusion after future appointments. Fourth, you should remove any derogatory reports from affected patients. If you sent your statements to the wrong address for one of your patients, of course you're not going to receive any payment from them in this instance. However, your standard practice for overdue accounts is to push them toward a collection agency. Yet, if the patient never got their statement in the first place, they never really had the chance to pay what they owe you at all. As a result, you have to contact the collections agency, void the statement charge, and ask them to remove any derogatory information from that patient's credit score. Finally, you need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Sending statements to the wrong address happens, yet it costs your organization a lot of time and money with all the effort you put in to fix it. I haven't even mentioned the fact that the patient involved in this error could actually report you to the Department of Health and Human Services, and if they do that, you'll have to prove that you have processes and safeguards in place to help prevent this type of fiasco from happening. Sending medical bills to the wrong address is a headache. It affects your practice and your patients. They're also almost guaranteed to happen at some point throughout your organization's lifetime, since there are so many moving parts that go into the patient billing process. If you're going to walk away from this video with something, the biggest takeaway is to make sure that you have some sort of process in place. Now, if you'd like to learn more about what to do when sending medical bills to the wrong address, reach out to eTactics. And you already made this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below. But what are you waiting for? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.